Hello and welcome. I'm Reverend Yin, founder of Evolving Enneagram.
And I'm Angela Joy, Evolving Enneagram faculty.
If you've been seeking a compassion-based contemplative approach to Enneagram-informed transformation, you are most certainly in the right place. This is where contemplation meets the Enneagram. So we're in week 6 of a 12-week Sunday talk series based on the theme Evolving Toward a Unifying Vision. The specific theme last week and this week is integral theory, growing up and waking up. Last week's talk was on growing up. Today's talk is titled Integral Heartfulness, Waking Up in Unity. So, we'll take today in two parts. I will open with a Rumi poem, and then Angela will close us off with a teaching from integral theory on the stages of waking up, which is also known as the stages of the heart. So I'd like to open this teaching on waking up, the stages of the heart, with a poem by the Sufi mystic Rumi. And before you hear these words, if you're in a place where it's comfortable for you to do so, I invite you to take this opportunity to have a seat, close your eyes, and simply just take in these words. A baby pigeon on the edge of the nest hears the call and begins his flight. How can the soul of the seeker not fly when a message arrives saying, "You have been trapped in life like a bird with no wings, in a cage with no doors or windows. Come, come back to me." How can the soul not rip open its coverings and soar to the sky? What is the rope that pulls the soul from above? What is the secret that opens the door? The key is the flutter of the heart's wings and its endless longing. When the door opens, walk on the path where abundance awaits you, where everything old becomes new, and never look back. Drink from the hands of the wine bearer, and you will be blessed even in this life. The key is the flutter of the heart's wings and its endless longing. I love that passage. Longing is in us, it says to me, not because life is masochistic or, life is sadistic or painful, but longing is in us because it is us. That longing is calling us home to ourselves. And I know personally, I have felt like my whole life I was longing for something I could not name, only to discover that this thing was like within me. And for me, from my perspective, is the innate divinity within me. And so this passage, which Angela shared with me, beautifully states what has been in my heart like all my life. Longing is in us because it's calling us home. And so the stages of the heart that Angela is about to introduce you to, I'm in a way now reframing in my mind as the stages of longing, the stages also of our belonging, calling us home. With that, I open it up to Angela to share.
Thanks, Nian. I'm really excited to get to talk about this journey of waking up. And my own spiritual journey has taken its own sets of twists and turns, but at the heart of it, I have always been a mystic longing for the divine beloved. And it's the mystics from every religion that have taught us about this inner journey, one from sleepwalking and separation to becoming fully alive and awake to some form of wholeness or unity with the divine. In fact, I've heard many say that the mystics from all traditions look more alike one another then they may look like the religion from which they come. And it's because of this inner journey. Ken Wilber was my first teacher, but it was Dr. Khaled ElSherbini from the Consciousness Academy who framed this waking up process as stages of the heart. And it comes from the perspective of the mystical Sufi tradition. And so much of this teaching is indebted to him. Each and every one of us begin on this path, striving to reconnect to what we've sensed that we've lost. We try and we try and we try some more to try to fill that gaping hole, and the ego striving through our types, passions, and fixations to try to fix it. And when it doesn't work, we double down and we try harder. We're grinding out life, trying to find what? We may not even know, but we know that there's a light in there. And if there's any light, well, we know that there's a light out there, not seeing any light within us. And so we blame ourselves, feeling guilty for being lost. And we can't seem to course correct. We try and try and try, and we seem to still stay in the same place. This is the stage of the striving heart and the blaming self. Now, sometimes in despair or trauma, we may actually fall down into the unavailable heart, where our heart is closed. We're utterly unreachable in this place with no light. We are ruled by our instincts. Our passions and fixations are distorted and locked. We're locked into it. We take command of the world around us. Everything is in service to me. The divine is mine. I am not the divine or belong to the divine. In fact, I live as if I am the divine. Now, not everybody spends time down here. And rising from this level, I think, takes such tremendous, heartfelt, miraculous courage. It is the stage of the unavailable heart and the commanding self. But the starting place for all of us was back at that striving heart and the blaming self. And from that place, some of us stay our entire lives. It takes conscious intention to actually move there. It's not something we just naturally progress from. When we practice presence, mindfulness, and/or obedience to a faith system, our hearts can move and become empowered. We're still dominated by our thoughts and our emotions, but we're no longer unconscious to them. We begin to wake up to the holy ideas and virtues. We're inspired by the power we have to respond instead of react, only though when we are paying attention. We can take action with a will to change. Still conflicted, we are defensive and controlling while trying to still find higher ground. Doing better becomes our drive rather than doing more. And we get here through sincere, consistent work. That's the stage of the empowered heart and the inspired self. We can move beyond the empowered heart only with humility. We still feel separate from essence, and yet our hearts are illuminated. Rumi describes this beautifully in one of my favorite poems of his. He says, "Let us carve gems out of our stony hearts and let them light our path to love." We enter into a state of intimacy and love with the divine. The holy ideas and virtues flow more naturally from our soul, and we have this sense of serenity. We're present often, and we respond more than we react. It is here that we begin to view the world around us without judgment. And it's the stage of the illuminated heart and the serene self. Now, when we live in full acceptance of all that is, seeing things as they are rather than how we want them to be, that is when we live in love. The Sufis call it the divine effusion of the heart. The light in our heart overflows and emanates divine love. Our true self is still aware that it's an individual and in full connection with the divine, it's completely content. We are at ease with everything as it unfolds around us. We experience non-judgment, forgiveness, compassion, and discernment of truth as just natural outpouring of our existence. It's the divine effusion of the heart stage and the content self. Now, freeing the heart from all attachment and full surrender of the ego opens us up to the synchronous heart. We're present to the abundance of the synchronicities all around us all the time, and fully gratified, filled up in every eternal blissful moment. The 9 faces of spirit shine their light on the manifest world, and each of us manifest our divine attributes, while the sum of them represent the whole of the divine light. Nothing at this stage feels missing. It's the synchronous heart stage and the gratified self. And when the ego is finally and completely annihilated, and we are in complete union with the beloved, our heart has fully realized unitive consciousness. Enlightenment exists here. All is the law of one. This is the realized heart and the complete or perfect self. As we bring this teaching to a close, it's important for me to mention that we may experience any of these stages as a temporary state. We may be gifted a glimpse of divine effusion and light and love just spills out from us. Or we could find ourselves caught in a moment of striving where we're suddenly back there in our fixations and passions. It takes just a breath, a space of intentional presence, a flutter of the heart's wings to carry us home.